something is going wrong here. I'm not sure what it is yet. Something's not working out right. I think I'm going to spend a little bit of time on my own studying this a little bit further. So I won't drag you through the misery of this till I get a little firmer grip on what is happening here. Because maybe I'm making a large mistake in how I'm approaching this. So I become curious about why this hasn't worked out. That's just the why hasn't this worked out? So I think what I want to try, as crazy as this is start tracing the signal through the radio, starting at the antenna and then just working my way through the circuits here and just see if we can, see what we find out. That's basically what it amounts to. So I'm going to switch on my tracer over here. I don't know if I can I reach all the way up with it? Yep. So I'm going to set this to RF. Band B. And we're going to try to tune in the signal generator. It's running at 1190. I put this on the antenna. Once I figure out where that is, and we'll see if we can find it over here. $11.90 is right around here. Surprising, the signal's a little low on the signal generator, so I'm going to crank it up here. So that's a very strong signal, typical of what you would get from a very good antenna. Still within the range of normal, but very much the high end. And what did I do wrong over here? RF, band B, attenuator's on a bit. That might have done it right there. Volume down. Okay, find the signal. There we go. Now I have a volume control on this guy. Now I want to start. The antenna comes in down here, and yet all the circuits are up at the top. Why is that like that? Because the first amplifier is right down here, I believe. So that's the very sensitive first RF amplifier. It's kind of located by itself down here, and the rest of them are up here. So we should be able to get the signal. They're right on the grid of this too. So again, part of what's going on here is just me getting familiar. I'm just looking for things to do that will kind of force me to get familiar with the radio and have some fun at the same time while I'm doing it. So we should hear it here. Oh my gosh, there's nothing happening here. Really right? That just has gotten nowhere. So let's look at the schematic. I have it on the screen there. Why wouldn't that do something? So I'm definitely on the no, I'm pretty sure I'm on the broadcast band here. Is that the problem? Maybe I'm not on the right band. Not all the lights are working on there. All the band indicating lights. You know what? I'm going to stop the confusion right now. I'm going to replace the lights up here, get them working. I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time on the wrong band because I have this faint memory that this band switch is a little weird. On the other radio, on the other similar radio. Oh my God, these are screw-in sockets. And I'm saying that because I don't have light bulbs. All mine are bayonet type. Rawr! Son of a gun. Well, okay, another way we can find out is there any voltage up there? Is there any voltage up there? Is there any voltmeter handy here? Yeah, I can use my my digital meter. My digital meter. My non-digital meter. As soon as my... Okay, so what I'm looking for now is the AC voltage on the light, which I think we're on this band. There it is. Not that one. There it is there. And not that one. And there it is there. That didn't work very well. What did I do? AC. Wrong. Testing the wrong side of the light. Does that make sense? Nothing there. Something there. Nothing there. Oh my God, what kind of a nutsy situation is this? Just the things that you expect to be so simple. So let me turn one of the lights on here. That light's on. Okay. Now this reading's got to relate to the light. Maybe it's putting a ground on the light that comes on, because all these lights have all got a supply voltage. So it must be the enabling of the ground. Process of elimination, because I think 3 lights work and 2 don't. Or I can move a light, or just move to another band. Oh my God, the simplest stuff. That's the end of the road there. So it'll be 6, 9, 11, 15, broadcast. How do I know that for sure? Of course I don't, do I? I can't tell from doing this. Pretty sure I'm on the broadcast band. So, back to tracing it. This has to be tuned properly too. That may be an element of the whole deal. Okay, so spin this back. Okay, checking on the antenna. There she is. Antenna. Okay, on to this tube down here now. Oh yeah, that's right. So the grid was on top. So how tough is it for the antenna to get? It goes through a pile of coils. It goes through the coil. So if I look, I should be able to see a wire coming off of this terminal. Oh my gosh, it's all occluded from view. Can't see the wire. The wire's up on top. The wire's up on top. Remember, 200 volts still in this. 200 volts and about 30 milliamps still. So the antenna wire heads that way. Where's it go? It goes all the way back to the capacitor probably here in just a second. You gotta look. Oh. Son of a gun. Where did it go? This wire's hooked up. That's about the limit there. It was coming. down the front here. Just comes off. Oh, wrong terminals, wrong place. Down here. I keep confusing the phono terminals with the antenna terminals. The wire's coming up here somewhere. Stick your finger in where you don't know what you're doing. Okay, I've got to take off this ground lead here and this one here. Shouldn't make any difference. Spin this radio farther. Now we get a good look at it. Okay, so starting from the antenna, the wire coming along here, coming along up in here, disappearing through this hole. Okay, I'm going to push my stick through the hole. We'll go find a stick on the back. Anybody see where that stick came through? There's the stick. There's the wire. There's the coil. Okay, get the stick out. We don't need to leave a stick in the radio. Get my checking again on the antenna. Lovely signal. And now find it right here. How come it's weaker? Oh, just 1 second here. So I am deep in the stage here of getting familiar with this radio. And, so first of all, I kind of thought this was the first tube. No. Cross that out. The first tube in the radio is here, this 6K7. So I found that the antenna wire kind of runs over the top here, disappears through a hole, gets involved with the coils that are under here, and then eventually gets to this grid. So we should be able to track this coming down through here. One of these is going to be the mixer tube, probably this one, 6L7. Let's look and see if that's really true. Way up here, 6L7, first detector, which is their way of saying mixer tube. So so after this, we're into the IF frequency, but up until the grid, now I think I worked this out last time I looked at it, it turned out it was the first grid on the 6L7 that carries the signal from here. And that pin number would be, can I get it down here? Oh. 6K7. So they put information in round circles on this. So like that. There it is. 6K7 in a round circle. I think I got this right. And so the grid, oh my gosh, coming from here, and there's no pin numbers. Well, we can just listen around to all the pins on there. I mean, I can identify by wire color, or sometimes it's green. They use green a lot for grid circuits and that. Oh, that's right. The whole thing's on the screen here the whole time. So I was just looking at a full screen rendering of the schematic. I kind of forgot this. It's here to be looked at. So wires coming in from the front of the radio, coming up here to this point, and it's making its way to this point up here. Okay, first of all, antenna. Why is it weakened here? You can see where my finger is over here. You can see the eye is open. But if I go back to the source, eye is closed. And as far as I know, I'm at either end of the same wire. This is one end. Make sure you can see what I'm up to here. So this is one end. The wire travels over the top, comes through a hole to this point. Where'd the signal go? going to say maybe this coil is dumping it, but it would be dumping it off the end over there too. I mean, if the coil is shorting out the antenna, this wouldn't work. Maybe I didn't trace that wire quite right. Easy, Jim. You're spinning this thing around. How could I not have traced it right? I stuck a thing through the hole. Couldn't have got it wrong. Is it shorted against the chassis? Well, if it was shorted against the chassis, it wouldn't pick it up strong over here either. How can you have it get weak traveling down a wire? How can that be the case? Let's double check. Okay, on the eye here. There. Incoming. Closes the eye. Other end of the same wire. Oh. No, it's just my connection there. Won't close the eye. The signal's disappearing along the wire. Oh, man. Really, that's just not jiving. That's what I think is possible, or not. Comes out of here and has to get to this tube. This tube here. This is the first tube. The grid is here. Signal's there. Can't quite see what I'm doing. I'm just crossing this green component here. One side. Look at that. And on the other side, get a hissy sound. Let me tune this radio. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that's the front end of the radio tuning, and we are at 11,850. 11. Oh, that's interesting. 11,850. Look at the frequency over there. So this. No. Jim. Come on, you're just. I've been in here too long. I'm on the AM band. 11. Sure, it's right on 11,850. Yes, I've been in here too long. You know what? Look at the time. It's oh my gosh, it's lunchtime. I'm going way too long. This will make a video that's gigantic, and I can't be posting gigantic videos. So we got this here. We got this here, which is stronger again, mysteriously. And then we go across the green component. Nobody. What's that green component? I noticed these initially in my initial inspection. These guys here. So it's going to a particular pin on this tube, and the pin is pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pin 6. Pin 6. Pin 6 on a 6K7. Pin 6. Let me look at my book. Pin 6 on a 6K7. Okay, it took a little while to find it. Pin 6. Pin 6 not used. Not used on a 6K7. So that's a connection point. The grid, well, the grid is a grid cap, but the wire going up to it should be visible. Yeah, so here it is. I got it. So the grid wire is just a little hard to see right back here going through a hole. That's the signal. Signal strength on the on the guy here is almost full. Sorry, it's out of focus there. It's focusing on my arm. There we are. See, the strength indicator is almost closed, the magic eye. So it's all there. Okay, so whatever I was doing before, who knows? It's getting there. That goes up on the grid. Now it comes back on the plate. I went and closed my book. Doggone it. 6K7. 6K7, the plate is number 3. 3 on the 6K7. The pin 1, 2, 3. So we should hear the signal. And it should be louder here. Don't know about louder. So the eye isn't quite closed. So, but then there's the signal to noise ratio thing going on. We can't really be sensitive to here. But the point is, it's here. It goes from there. It goes through these center set of coils. Must come out almost in the same fashion and show up here. Okay, so that's closing the eye. It's making the eye overlap just a little bit. So it's getting a little stronger. Signal goes through this tube. Look at this. Look at how close. Can you see the green wire going through the hole? You see the insulation is broken off of it? Right in the hole. Right where you can get a short to the chassis, but it's not shorted. That's just luck. Okay, so it's coming out of this tube. What tube is that? Can we just guess where the plate is? Because we could see it coming out like that. We can see this coming out like that. Heading to these coils. I don't think that can be the plate. We're going to have to figure it out by looking at first the tube diagram. I find it very confusing in this 6L7. So we want to find a plate of a 6L7. The plate, what pin is the plate on for a 6L7? 6E, F, G, K, 6L7. This might be the first time I've had a radio with a 6L7 in it. Pentagrid mixer. It's got more than... grid was on... No, plate. Jim, plate. 3 again. You like 3 for the plate. 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 is here. Okay, signal's there, and it's closing the little eye. Okay, we're all the way here, and we're on our way to this next tube, I'm pretty sure. So we're going through this. This is looks like a tube socket. This guy here looks like a tube socket. No, if you look close, instead of a tube pin, a tube key, it's actually the adjustment for the IF right there. It's coming through, coming out of here, and be heading for the grid of this tube. Coming out of here, coming down here, probably going through, probably on this, probably on that green wire. Maybe not. Okay, so we think it's coming in here. It's going into that IF coil. It's coming out, heading for the grid of this tube. Oh, here's the green wire. This is the green wire. Have we found something here? So you find it on the plate here, into the coil, but not on the next tube. Assuming this is the next tube. I could have this arrangement wrong. I've been wrong almost every time. So we look down here. By the way, this isn't a coil. This is a capacitor right here. That's why it's got 2 wires, and why it could be. This really should be B+ happening here. I disconnected my meter, so I won't check it. Why did I not read B+ there? Still early enough in the radio. Maybe everything's working, and B+ not making it up later in the radio. Maybe that's where we're going with this. So no signal present here. Could be a dirty band switch even. So we gotta figure out what tube is that. That tube is another 6J7. Don't say another, it's a 6J7. So we look up a 6J7. 6J7. JJK. And sharp cutoff, pentode. Plate is on 3 again. Plate is on 3. Okay. Key is there. 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, it's the same place. Oh, wait a minute. This is showing as a plate, this green wire here, which I thought would be the grid. I thought they used the red wires on the plate circuits. I did something wrong. I've done something wrong. But it's a 6J7. It's a 6J7. Plate is on 3. Grid is on, grid goes, a grid cap. Okay, grid cap. And the grid wire. So we already know there's nothing on the grid wire. So the signal is coming out of this tube, heading into this coil, coming out of this coil on this red wire, I bet. Not present. I said grid wire. That's not the grid wire. The grid wire is blocked from view. That's what's happening here. The wire that's going up to the grid cap on this tube looks like it's. Oh, this could be yeah, looks like I can see it right, just a little tiny weeny little bit of it there. This must be, yeah, there's no pin here. There's no pin on this tube here. So they made a pile of connections here. So this is the grid point in this tube. What is there? Nothing. So going into this coil, let me just move my camera a little bit here. Going into this coil is this. Can't hold it with my left hand very well. It's like a glass of water. I need 2 hands. That's going into the coil. Into the primary side. Secondary side is going to be somewhere else. There's an awful lot of stuff on here, but I think there's a lot of spare pins on this socket here. You can see that there aren't pins in most of those pin sleeves. Okay, so it reaches the coil, but doesn't reach the grid. Now, how is it supposed to get to the grid? Through this. From where? From here. This would be the plate. Connection to this grid point through this thing. From that point, what's that point coming from? That point is hooked up to, I don't know what that is. Way up here. That's kind of weird. Wait a minute now. Haven't I gone past? Hold it. Everybody, hold the fort. I've already gone past the IF. Hey, wrong frequency I'm looking for. Okay, now we're going to start looking for the right frequency. I made this mistake last time I was doing this. Okay, I'm going to flip my. So what's happened is that, radio's converted the incoming signal or it's produced an alternate signal inside itself at 455 kilohertz. I'm still looking for the original signal frequency. So I need to change this to 455. Be about there. Now I bet you we'll start picking up the signals here. Now, so we're coming out RF into here through an IF, the IF. What? What am I doing? What am I saying? What am I saying here? What? So I'm looking at this. Oh yeah, you can see it too. Schematic. One tube. The next tube is the mixer. After the next tube, on the plate of the 6L6 should be the IF signal. So we're going back to this one plate and looking for IF on the plate. Okay, Jim, remember the plate? Wasn't it 3? It's a signal heading for this coil. Okay, looking for it. Tuning my. No, there's nothing there of that sort. No oscillator operation. So the oscillator is operating. We tune the radio to a low frequency, like 600 kilocycles. The resultant local oscillator should be running around 450. Above that, 600 is at 1050. So I should be able to pick up a signal at 1050 on this if I put it in the right spot. And where would that be? Almost anywhere. I think it should be available on in this right here. Oh yeah, but I'm tuning now for, I'm tuning the wrong frequency here. Let's go back. So I'm thinking my signal tracer will pick up the local oscillator and you'll know it. I certainly don't hear anything. It's supposed to be up around, it's up around 1,000,000 hertz. Let's just go over this again. Feeding in a signal at 1190 over yonder, 1190. The radio itself is not tuned to 1190, it's tuned off 1190. It doesn't really matter. Wherever I tune it, the local oscillator is operating at some frequency. Doesn't seem to be there. Let me hunt for it using a method that I'm more familiar with here. So in the top left of the screen now is my SDR radio, and it's tuned. Well, you can see the medium wave band, the blue area, the blue where it says medium wave. And with the big radio tuned to 600, we would expect the local oscillator to be right around here. Now, if you look in the camera, you can see I've got a clip lead. It's just hanging out here. It's not actually hooked up to anything. It's hanging out in front of the radio. And this clip lead is connected to the input of my SDR antenna. And that should be enough to pick up a local oscillator. My experience has taught me over and over, local oscillators are usually quite strong in these radios. So we should see something on the screen there, and maybe we are. Now I'll tune the radio, it'll vary the local oscillator, and we'll see it move on the SDR. There's nothing moving there. So the suggestion at this point is the local oscillator is not oscillating. That might explain a few of the other things that were going on here, not the least of which the lack of reception. So to prove this better, because I can't be absolutely sure I'm on the broadcast band, I'm going to pick a band here which has lights. There'll be no doubt what band I'm on. I'm going to light up one of these bands, any one of them. So there's one. Okay, so I have a light on, the 11 megahertz band. So the radio is currently tuned to, let's put it rated at 11.8. Okay, 11.8. Add 455. You get 12.255. 12.255. So now we'll go up there. 12 megahertz. So somewhere in this area we should see a local oscillator. Maybe that's it, that little tiny signal there. So I'll tune the radio to cause the oscillator to move. I see nothing moving. So now I have to ask myself, well, is my SDR really picking this up? This has almost never failed with other radios. Yeah, a couple of indications now there's no local oscillator oscillating. Let's get an even stronger indication. So I'll put the schematic back up there. The local oscillator is barking out of these coils here. And then it's got a couple of tubes here involved. 6J7 oscillator. And where is that tube? 6J7 oscillator. Oops, so probably this one. One of these two. I'm going to put the name here. This is close. Yeah. What's the other 6J7 doing? It's not a 6J. They're both involved with the oscillator. Is that part of this thing? 6J7 oscillator control. So, aha. So part of the oscillator's operation does involve this automatic frequency control, and the two 6Js are involved with each other. And one of them is the one I really want to get at. I have to get close to it. Okay, I just have to get close to it. There's only two tubes, so why strain over this too much? 6J7, one of them is down here, and the other one is up there. So, no, these are, metallized tubes, but there still should be. They have grid caps. They have grid caps, man. Okay. Let's just hang this right here like this. Just trying to hang my wires where I won't get a shock. Nothing terrible will happen. Jeepers creepers. Okay, so we're hanging on one of these two tubes. We're still operating on the 11 megahertz band. Still expect something on there. This is getting to be more and more convincing that there's no local oscillator oscillating in here. Okay, I'll just try to hook this on the other one. I think it's right here. Again, it's just, it should rise up. My experience is that these signals are really easy to see. So I think at this point you can conclude the local oscillator is not functioning in this radio. If we want to get even a more certain view of it, the local oscillator is fed to the first grid of this tube, the mixer tube. It's fed to the third grid, G3. Okay, so G3 on the second tube, that's the second tube, and G3, get a really good look at this, 6L7, and we're looking at G3, G3 is pin 5. Pin 5. So I want to get close to pin 5 with this with my antenna here. How close? Pin 3. What did I just come up with? Pin 3. 6L7. L7. Pin 5. No, it's grid 3, pin 5. Come on, man. Okay, grid 3 and pin 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see it there. And we want to make big honking resistor or a teeny tiny capacitor. Give me a teeny tiny capacitor. I don't have one. I have a fairly big one here. So I mean, this is the antenna to my little SDR, and if I stick 200 volts on it, I don't think that SDR is going to tolerate it. There certainly shouldn't be 200 volts here, but I'm not completely sure. Why not measure it? So this is, I don't really want to hook this right up to the SDR right away. So just put it like this. Kind of loose coupling. Probably should have had the SDR on the screen the whole time I'm doing that. 11 megahertz. Something right there. Tune the radio. Nothing moving. Well, it's getting awfully convincing here. This is way out of the range of my tracer. Tracer only traces within basically the broadcast band, which is why the SDR is so helpful. Dirty band switch. Let me just give the band switch a bit of a... I'm looking for something to pop up on that. No, nothing's popping up. AFC switch doing nothing. I have no speaker hooked up. Can't hear anything coming out of the radio. Maybe the radio's working. So, you know, I think I'm just going to have to stick with that conclusion. No local oscillator here. One last way to check it again. These are the oscillator coils, I'm pretty sure, right here. So I'm just going to lay this right up against them. And watch on my screen for anything to pop up on the SDR. Don't get a shock doing this. Just nothing. Now, could it be just this one band? Could it be another band would work? It's typically not the case. I think what we got here is a dead local oscillator. And you know what? It's late in the day. I've been doing this for too long already. And it's another beautiful day outside. What am I doing in here? I'm going to stop at this point. Dead local oscillators where we're at. Reason for it, who knows? Bad capacitor, who knows? But we'll carry on from here tomorrow.